late when the devil has been playing with you because the devil has been playing with me on this journey. So, quick story time. Um, I've been doing my whole abstinent run. It has been at least a month now. I am in a relationship. So that makes it even more difficult. Comment below if you can relate, if you're in a relationship and you're abstinent and it's a struggle because, sis, the man is fine. And you're just like, I need it. But you're like, I need God more. So that's where I am. So, lately I've been doing pretty good, doing pretty good. And I'm like, okay, sis, I see you, sis. I see you. I see you, Lord. But then recently, the devil has been like all up in my mind. Lately, I've been having dreams of like me doing sexual activities. It's like the devil will try to plant little seeds up until the day that I'm going to see my man, right? Which is during the weekend. So, I've been having these dreams, and when I wake up, I have these dreams, I rebuke them, and I go about my day. Um, but recently, okay, like yesterday on Sunday, I don't know, guys, I had this just urge that came out of nowhere. Of just wanted to, release, if you know what I mean. TMI, oh well, because we're going to be real with the girls. And so I was just like, I'm here just laying on the bed and I'm like, I rebuke you, devil. You are not going to get me. You're not going to get me. And I'm just like rebuking these thoughts, but the thoughts are just like really, really loud to the point where, sis, I folded, I crumbled, I dropped the ball, I fumbled. Comment below if you can relate when you have fumbled. I fumbled, sis. Okay. I gave up the flag, I fumbled. So here I am, and my hands were the death of me. But in the name of Jesus, the Lord has the victory. Okay. The Lord has the victory, but sis, I fumbled either way. And I masturbated. And so abstinence is not just you're abstaining from sex, it's you're abstaining from sexual activities in general. And so I missed that part, right? Not to say I missed it, but I fumbled that part. And so you may think, okay, well, I can limit activities with my boyfriend. I can limit activities with my significant other, and we're not obviously married. But what happens when it's just you and your flesh? What happens when it's just you and your temptation and your sexual desires, and it's just you and you're alone and your hands and a toy, maybe, whatever, right? That's rough. So today, I'm documenting my journey of my Christian walk. Make sure you like and subscribe if this is the type of content that you're interested in and you're interested in hearing about real life stories that us Christian girls go through. We can go ahead and share tips and tricks together. I was just meditating on and reflecting on what happened and how did we get here. So I'm going to share some tips and I'm going to share my thoughts, and make sure you comment and let me know what are your thoughts and what are some tips that you can share with me that could probably help me. So number one, okay, so we're done with story time. I shared story time with you. So number one is what to do after breaking your abstinence. So the first thing that I did, y'all, okay, was go ahead and repent. I immediately went to the Lord and I said, Lord, I'm so sorry. It was just in me and it just had to come out. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, but it was in me and the spirit was just all in my ear, in my mind, and I had to do something. But in reality, I didn't have to do that, but I submitted to my flesh rather than my flesh submitting to the spirit in me, right? So, one, what to do after breaking your abstinence. The first thing that you want to do is go ahead and just ask the Lord for forgiveness. Yes, you sinned. Yes, you broke your vow. Yes, you did all the things that you shouldn't have done for a temporary moment, a temporary pleasure. But after all of that, just go ahead and ask God for forgiveness, and He will forgive you if you're sincere in your asking of forgiveness. Like, He will forgive you because He knows that you're human. Now, if you're doing it over and over and over again intentionally, like I said before in one of my other videos, then that's a huge issue. But if you're sincere about it and you're like, Lord, I really want to do right. Please help me. Please forgive me for this sin that I committed. He's going to forgive you. So 1, go ahead and pray. Go ahead and repent. 2, which I think a lot of people don't talk about, so we're going to talk about it in this video. 2, don't only pray for your walk. Don't only pray so that God can help you through your abstinence journey. Don't only pray and ask God to help you to stay quote unquote sin-free or quote unquote sex-free, whatever the case is, sexual immorality free, but also pray for your significant other, pray for your boyfriend, like pray for whether he's here now, whether he is present in your life or he's not yet, still pray for him. Pray for him, because it's not just a journey about you, it's a journey about we. It's a journey about you and him. And it's so difficult when you're doing this journey on your own and maybe you're the only one in that relationship that truly believes in this whole abstinence thing before marriage, because that's the situation that I'm in. My boyfriend, he doesn't really believe in it, but he's trying his hardest. He's trying his hardest to just please me and to do what I've just been like telling him I need to do, because I'm convicted that the Lord wants me to do it the right way. So, he's really just hanging on his flesh. I'm doing my very best to hang on the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord. So it's 2 different conversations, 2 different struggles. He's probably struggling way more than I am. And I'm struggling way less than he is, because I'm more centered on Christ. I'm more like seeking the help of God, and he's probably more seeking the help of his flesh. He's just trying to restrain himself by his own might. And I already talked to him about that. I said, hey, like, you can't do it by yourself. You really need God. You need to pray through it. And I don't think it's really clicking in his mind. He doesn't really understand how that could really help, but it really does help, because it got me this far where I haven't had sex for the longest while being in a relationship with him. So that's 2. Pray for the person that you're in a relationship with, or the person that you may end up being in a relationship with, and ask the Lord to also help them. Okay. The third thing that you want to go ahead and do is you want to reflect. So that's what I did. What could have contributed to the temptation? Ask yourself. So I had to take the time to ask myself, okay, so how did we get to this point? Because we were doing so good. Like, sis, we're pretty much already at a month, if not a little over, and we haven't fallen, right? We've been tempted a few times by your boyfriend, right? Because there was times where he was weak and he was just like, please, give me some. And you're like, no, right? But it's been because of the Lord's help. So what happened? How did you break? So I had to really take the time to reflect, and I started thinking, okay, well, what led up to this? Yes, I started to get dreams all of a sudden of sexual activities. That's 1, which is a clear sign that the devil is near, right? That means that the devil is very close, or his booby traps, right? His little minions are near, and they're getting ready to set up some traps for you. That's the sign, sis, that maybe during that weekend, you don't need to go see your boyfriend. Okay? Unless you're really, really prayed up. But these are little signs that you should pay attention to, because whatever is happening in the spiritual realm, whatever you're dreaming about, it's a sign that it's about to happen in the physical realm, right? So this is when you should be prayed up even more, and I wasn't. Another thing is, I did I want to say maybe like a few days ago, I was watching a show and there was a little sex scene, but it wasn't really like the steamy, all in your face, like completely visual and all that stuff. It was just a little quick little, just not too serious. But to be honest, what is that saying? Your eyes are the windows to your soul. There's a possibility that little segment, that little itty bitty film, right? That little itty bitty visual planted another seed in my mind without me realizing, right? And the devil will find any little thing to weaken your flesh. So that's a reminder that even if you watch something of that nature, which you probably shouldn't, especially if you know that that is one of your weakness, because we all have different weakness in the spiritual walk, if that's one of your weaknesses, you probably need to cut that. Or if for whatever reason, by mistake, or even for a little moment, your eyes saw certain things that could probably tempt you, immediately pray about that and rebuke it out of your spirit, out of your senses, out of your spiritual, I don't know what you want to call it, but out of your spirit, basically, so that it doesn't sink and plant more seeds that could cause you to fall, right? So that's another thing. Another thing that I realize is, which is a great tip for anyone else that may be struggling with the abstinence walk, is pay attention to anything that you're watching, anything that you may be listening to. So any music that could just kind of get you in that mood of like, yes, I really need a man next to me right now, right? I would love to do some things. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to any things that you may be wearing that can kind of make you feel a little bit more promiscuous, that can make you feel like it's okay to feel like that girl, right? It's okay to look and feel like that girl. But if it's to a point where it makes you feel like you're ready to tempt somebody, sis, be careful now. Okay, that's a sign. That's a sign that your flesh is getting a little bit weak, okay? Or it's craving something. So be careful. Also pay attention to the activities, environments that you may be in that could tempt you. Like I said, any dreams of doing sexual acts, okay, that could be another temptation that could then eventually lead to the physical realm. And yeah, I would say those are the main things. And by the way, I'm looking at my notes because as I was reflecting, I was just thinking about all of the things that I could share with you guys. And these are really the most important points if you're trying to succeed in this abstinence walk. And then the next thing is your temperature check, your temperature check. So what I also realized while I was reflecting was that, okay, I wasn't really taking the time to check my spiritual temperature. So one of the biggest reasons why I took a pause from YouTube for a little bit was because I've been studying for this certification course, and I've just been so focused on trying to get this done as quickly as possible. And because of that, my time is so limited. After work, I come home and I'm straight to studying because I know that later on I'm going to get tired, I'm going to get sleepy, and I'm going to fall asleep while studying. So I've been very aggressive with my studying time for the certification, which also means that I have been touching the Bible less. I haven't been praying as much, but I have been praying, but I haven't been spending more time with God as much, which means that, hey, we're not as secure, we're not as protected, we're not as covered. Not to say we're not as protected, but we're not as covered. We're not under his veil as much because our minds and our eyes, our focus is off of him because we're so focused on something else, which means that the devil has found somewhere to creep in because he knows that I'm not fully coated in the Lord's spirit because I'm so focused and distracted on the certification. And I realized that while I was more into the word, while I was, doing the things like doing this YouTube channel and staying focused on God and making sure that the Lord was the center of everything that I was doing, it was so much more easier for me to not fall. So make sure that a temperature check, a spiritual temperature check is literally a part of your lifestyle, because that will keep you accountable and that will keep you on alert so that you don't fall as easily. The next thing is my thoughts. So, my final thoughts about this journey. So, what I think is that, I truly do believe that, there are so many benefits regarding abstinence, especially when you're doing it relating to your faith, when you're doing it because of God and you're doing it because you want to get closer to the Lord. I also do believe that there are blessings that comes with it that I want to learn more about, because I feel like information is powerful. The more you understand the things of the Spirit, I may be wrong, but I feel that it does inspire you to stay convicted, and it does inspire you to stay on the right track with the Lord. So this is another reason why most likely this week, as I'm creating videos and etc., I will probably talk more about abstinence, because I truly do believe that I'm not the only girl. I'm not the only Christian girl that is struggling with this. Comment below if you are also struggling with this. But I don't believe that I could be the only one in this battle. So I do want to dive in a little bit more in the Word and find out as much as I can find out about what the Lord has said about abstinence. What are the kind of blessings that comes with this? What other things that comes with this? What can I learn from it? And also, not only that, but one thing that I have realized is that being abstinent is going to really help you in your dating phase. I know some people say, oh, that's not true. It actually will hurt you, but it will help you, because it will quickly help you to see who's there for you and who is not there for you. Because if a man hears that your abstinence is, if he ain't there for the right reasons, if he ain't really into you like that, if he doesn't really see you as his wife, he's not going to stay. He's not going to stay. And also, he may stay, but he may entertain someone else at the same time, right? He may just stay because he really loves you in his head, but he, quote unquote, needs this thing. So on the side, he may have someone to fulfill those other needs until you're ready, right? Which, God forbid, you will never be in that situation. And I think that's another reason why being connected to God and really leaning on him and just always asking him for wisdom is going to help during your journey, because you don't want to end up with someone like that, right? And I pray to God that that is not my situation, because you never really know. Someone can tell you that is not your situation. The person that you're with could tell you they are super faithful and they will wait until marriage and all that stuff, but you never really know. Only the Lord knows the spirit of a man, right? So just keep that in mind. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then also just a reminder that even if you break your abstinence, sis, do not fall into this pool of guilt. It's okay to feel guilty, but once you're done feeling guilty, once you've cried out your eyes, your tears, whatever the case is, once you've done all of that emotional roller coaster, just leave it in the palms of the Lord, leave it at his feet, and just go about your day. You've prayed, you asked for forgiveness, you repented, you washed your face, you washed your clothes spiritually, or maybe physically as well. But you've done all of that. You let it out physically and spiritually. And now just go about your day and just do right. Do right after that. Do right after that. You've learned from your mistakes, and just continue to partner up with the Lord during that journey, and he will help you. And this is just my story. This is my journey, but I know that you have maybe the same story or very similar. So please, I would love to hear your story. Comment below and let me know what you're going through. Let me know what has helped you. Let me know, have you, struggled through this journey? And what are your questions about this journey? Maybe we can explore it together a little bit more in my next videos. But that is about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and you subscribe if you're into this type of content, this podcast / YouTube channel is all about the Christian girlies journey, sharing tips and tricks, and just being vulnerable and talking about things that most people don't want to talk about. Most people keep, in hush hush because of their titles in the church, or because of who they are, whatever the case is, or just because they're quote unquote Christian. Just because you're Christian does not mean that you don't struggle with sin, does not mean you do not fall, does not mean that you don't fornicate. It means you shouldn't, but it does not mean that there hasn't been a time that you have fallen, right? There hasn't been a time that you have been weak, okay, due to the flesh. So that is it, guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye.